Okay, what you want to know about it?
We would like to know, basically, when did you guys find out about this case, and where did you guys go from there?
Okay, I got notified some months ago that an officer was under investigation. Uh, we have two JPD officers that are assigned to the FBI and as task force officers, and the notification came from one of them. As y'all probably know, that we work with the federal authorities on situations like this in the past. So I knew of it for a while. I got told late last week that an arrest was imminent. So that took place today. Now, it's never easy to see one of our officers arrested and charged with a crime. Obviously, it's embarrassing for me personally, and it's embarrassing for the police department. But truth be told, it's a step forward for us. We can't build the type of police department that we seek to have. We can't have the image that we're trying to achieve. We can't have complete trust in the neighborhoods if we've got police officers that are committing criminal acts in our uniform. So while all things are considered, again, it's a step forward for us. Uh, we know, and we want to make sure that I articulate publicly that this individual does not represent the typical JPD officer. He made some terrible decisions as an individual while he was employed with us. That's not a reflection on the entire force. And for those who may think that this is not the first time, and they will be correct in that thinking, but again, you have to have these individuals purged from your police department before you can move forward. If there are others that are out there committing these type acts, they will be found out as well and will be dealt with in the same way. So now we have an ex-Jackson police officer that's in trouble with the law because his employment was terminated this morning.
Chief, how long was he on the force?
I think about 5 years. Not really sure exactly, but somewhere about 5 years.
And I know you guys found out about this months ago, but he was just arrested this morning. Was he on a leave during that time, or was he still operating on the force?
No, we found out that he was being investigated months ago. The investigation culminated last week. That's when I was informed that the arrest was imminent. Obviously, the investigation had to progress to a point to where it was felt that it was time to make an arrest, and that's what happened today.
Chief, you've put in years with the force. As the leader, how disappointed are you?
Well, again, I've got mixed emotions. This is not an easy thing to talk about. I'm very disappointed, but I'm most disappointed because there are those who will use this individual's terrible judgment to paint a picture of this entire police department. And I think that's the most tragic factor that comes about every time one of these things take place. Now, the truth of the matter is that you have individuals in every profession that is not living up to what they are supposed to be doing on their job. But police officers are held to a higher standard, and we accept that. So if you don't want to accept it, then you shouldn't be a police officer. Being a criminal and a law enforcement officer does not mix. I think it's the ultimate oxymoron. So having said that, and keeping in mind our personal goals, what we're trying to do in the Jackson Police Department, and building it into one of the best law enforcement agencies in the country, obviously we have zero tolerance for individuals who choose to commit criminal acts while they are in our uniform, while they are among our ranks. So again, this individual has been relieved of his employment, and he has to do what he has to do to navigate his way through the federal judicial system at this point, but he would do that without our uniform and without our badge.
Are you discussing details of the case, like as far as it's a bribery charge? Are you guys
I'm not really comfortable discussing it because while we had JPD officers, detectives involved in the investigation, we were not the lead agency. It's being adjudicated through the federal system, through the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable in getting into too many details, at least without them being here.
This kind of plays off of Terrence's question, but you've talked before about how this is basically your family. Does it make you feel personally a little betrayed when something like this happens?
It makes me feel personally betrayed. It makes me question myself as to whether or not there was anything that I, as a chief, could have done to keep this from happening. Is there anything more that we can do when we're in the process of scrutinizing applicants to keep bad apples off the police department? Yes, it does make me second guess myself. Then the reality was set in. And the reality is that this was an individual who chose to commit a criminal act. And once you make that decision, the responsibility then lies with the individual, not with me and not with anybody else that works here. And again, the thing that upsets me the most is that episodes like this tarnish us all. And the only somebody that needs to be tarnished is the individual that commits the act.
Chief Vance, do you have anything to say to any other officer that is probably engaging in criminal activity?
Well, I'm hoping that we don't have anybody else that is, but I think this is a glaring example of where you will be end up. You will be found out and you will be dealt with. So hopefully if there's an individual that's doing that, that they will use this as motivation to alter their behavior.
Did this officer have any prior complaints, prior history running?
My recollection of him is that the only thing I recall about him as far as a disciplinary issue was something like not turning reports in on time. But there were no other indicators that he was involved in a situation like this.
Anything else, Chief?
Oh, no. Yeah. Go ahead, E.
Well, go ahead.
No. I forgot what I was going to say. You know I'm getting old.
I was going to go to a separate issue.
Go ahead. Let's do it.
State fairs next week.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all good to go? Everything's in place? You good?
Plans in place. We ready to go. Has been worked out.
So for those of you who are just tuning in, we talked about the state fair issue earlier today. Chief Vance was just talking about the indictment of Officer Melvin Williams out of Precinct 1 on bribery charges. That is at clarionledger.com right now if you want to look it up. I'm going to be headed back to the office to update that story. So we do have that at clarionledger.com. We were at the federal courthouse earlier today for his arraignment, and we will be, like I said, adding the chief's comments. So thank you guys for tuning in. Everyone have a good weekend. I'm off until Sunday from Jackson Police Department for the Clarion Ledger. I'm Teresa Abel.